Hi, some thoughts for today, the 11th Sunday after Trinity. Once upon a time there was an inn called the Silver Star. The innkeeper was unable to make ends meet, even though he did his best to draw customers in by making the inn comfortable, the service good, the prices reasonable, and the food and drink the best. So in despair, he consulted a sage. After listening to the innkeeper's tale of woe, the sage told him that the solution to his problem was very simple. He told him to change the name of the inn. The innkeeper protested that it had been called the Silver Star for many generations, so it could not be changed. The sage persisted and told the innkeeper to call the inn the Five Bells and have a row of 6 bells hanging below the sign. The innkeeper thought it was ridiculous an idea, but agreed to give the sage's idea a try. Some weeks later, the sage returned to the inn to inquire of the innkeeper how the inn was doing now. The innkeeper told him that every traveller who passed by the inn had walked in to point out the mistake, each one reckoning that no one else had noticed it. Once inside, they were impressed by the friendly atmosphere, the service, and stayed on to refresh themselves. This provided the innkeeper with the income to keep his inn and take care of his staff. There is something about being human, isn't it, that seems to take great delight in pointing out other people's mistakes and failings, isn't there? We all know how painful that is. We all know how humiliating it is. For me, that was what my education was all about. Always getting it wrong, with teachers only there to find out what I did not know and proclaim it to the world. It is the Sabbath, and Jesus has been invited to a very smart and proper meal with one of the leading Pharisees. All the guests and dignitaries are watching Jesus like a hawk. They have come with a very clear agenda to watch Jesus very closely to see if he breaks the Sabbath rules. They want to add any misdemeanor to his bulging file of improper behavior to give the accusation against him a rock-solid foundation. As on many previous occasions, Jesus does not disappoint. A person suffering from dropsy appears, and horror of horrors, Jesus cures him. The authorities are outraged, but also delighted at what Jesus has done. Recognizing their thoughts, Jesus asks them if they would pull out their son who had fallen down a well on the Sabbath. They are silent. They're scheming in tatters. However, as they have been watching Jesus, he has been watching them. Jesus is not impressed with their shabby scramble for the best seats, the places of honor, and how the host has only invited those who may be beneficial to him. As a result, Jesus tells the parable about how both guest and host should behave. As Jesus watches people arrive for his meal, he comes to realize that the actual meal, the food they will share, is the last thing on the guest's mind. They are concerned instead about who has the most honored places. Some expect to be in a prominent position and are asked to move down, whilst others feign humility in order to be told to come up higher. But what if that scheme does not work and they are left in their lowly position? Jesus watches it all going on around him and then tells them that the right attitude to have is the one that no matter where you are placed, it's a massive privilege to be there in the first place. Then Jesus says to the host that he should invite those who are hungry to his table. The guests whom he has invited are not hungry. His current guests may show off his status and demonstrate what important circles he moves in, but they are not hungry for such a meal. Instead, invite to your table those who are in real need, those who are poor, the crippled and the lame. Invite those who are so easily ignored, those whom you cripple by your attitude and keep lame by your lack of compassion. Feed them, says Jesus, and help them to walk amongst you with pride and dignity. No one likes to be put down. It is a huge privilege to be able to feed one another, to be with one another. No one should ever feel crippled because they are regarded as a mistake. We all need to be able to come to the table to share God's love for us and his presence with us. It's a huge privilege, and he invites us all. We are all hungry and need to share his meal. So travel safe, pilgrim.